Okay, so quick note on the schedule. We're starting sprint 4 of the Loon release. This is the hardening sprint. So the plan would be to cut a support branch and get functionality or just bug fixes on those, and then those who are working or continuing to work on their features would stay on master. I guess a quick update here from Ray. When do you think we'll be able to cut a support branch? I know you've been looking through the various patches.
So let me go back to my spreadsheet here. So it looks like we've got about 15-ish changes that are ones that Thomas and I identified that should be in 1.11. So obviously I would prefer if we could get those in master before we snap it, but we don't have to absolutely do that. If people have things they're waiting for, we can cut the branch.
Can I suggest that we do that we give ourselves at least another day and basically cut a master branch on Wednesday morning. So
okay, I can do that.
We can merge at least the ones and address the review comments of the ones that we've identified. And then if there is any stragglers in the sort of other portion of the review log, then we can deal with those.
Okay, that's good. The only thing is if I would ask that nobody plus 2 things other than you and I during this interim period, so we don't end up with stuff in there that's.
You want to enforce that?
Yeah, we should enforce it.
You can do that. You can change. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and let's send a
message. So just the 3 of us then.
Yeah, we'll send a message. We'll send a message out saying that we're basically suspending the module owner privileges temporarily.
Just until the 1.11 branch is done. Okay, that's good. So
and that should still be within reasonable buffer.
Yep.
For convergence to the.
Yep. So that sounds like a plan. So I'll make the branch Wednesday morning.
Okay.
And Brian will make the change to protect master from other check-ins. So that's good.
When we make a branch, we run a quick RC.
Sure. I'll do that anyway, just to make sure all the scripts still work and everything.
Okay, we'll get on to talk about what we're doing in sprint 4 then. So, can you guys see Jira?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you can move it over a little or close it. There we go.
That was mine.
Okay.
That was mine when
Sorry.
Does it need to be bigger, or is it big enough? Not wide.
You should probably plus command plus it once or twice. Nudge it up.
How do you do it?
One more maybe. Thank you. That's good.
Okay, we'll start off with the bugs that we need to fix in 1.11. Only 2 were identified as being critical that we want to make sure gets into 1.11. John, do you want to go over those?
Sure. The first one is the issue that Jordan is attempting to fix with the consistent flow rule store. Basically, with the existing implementation we have right now, flow rules can go missing, and things like master chip change. The second one is an issue where what I was seeing is a link goes down, triggers a resubmit of an intent. If that intent can be satisfied, it goes into the withdrawing phase, and for whatever reason, it gets stuck there and doesn't get recompiled even after the link comes back up.
So this one is currently assigned to?
I think I can.
Can you refresh the?
Yeah, I think I'm mainly focused on people stuff.
So you want someone else to take a look at this?
Okay, 1 second.
Did you push it back in the backlog or?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so QA identified it as a must fix, which means we should try to fix it. And if you can't cover it, I think what we need to do is find someone else to cover it.
try to cover it because it's focused mainly on the people stuff.
Yes. Yeah, my preference is you should focus on that. So can someone else pick up the defect?
So what was the defect? What was the number? We should have probably just changed the owner. So
Yes. John, what was the defect number?
It's 6893.
So let's just swap it in a sprint and we can figure out who's going to take care of it later. And we can do assignment later. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to platform. Ready?
Yeah, so the first issue, 3559, is related to 5896, the flow rule issue. So basically the way we're going about fixing that, I mean, currently the flow rule store uses like a primary backup replication protocol that loses data. So we're replacing that with consistent primitives. This is a patch that's currently in review, but I think still has some work to be done. So, and that's the top priority. And then we have the rest of the issues here are mostly, they're all patches that are, well, no, actually, that's right. Ray ran into an issue in SDC this morning where there's an NPE in the device store, which shouldn't be a problem to fix that in the next couple of days. And then the last two issues are, so Sithara was working on adding events for transactions to one of the primitives. She's gone now, so I'm gonna finish that up for her. And then the last one is, so we did some consistent map refactoring that changed the semantics of consistent maps a little bit. And so 6874 is a patch that's in review to make sure that the semantics of the map are consistent with what they've been in past releases.
That one, I think I merged that right before the meeting.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay, and then for 3559, you mentioned that it should also fix ONOS 6042.
Yeah, there were a few issues that I went back and looked at, things that were related to the flow rule store, and it looks like there's a few issues that it will resolve. I don't remember what they were.
So
yeah.
It's currently being owned by someone else. Could you let those folks know?
Yep, sure.
And then I assume those will also go into this release once this is done.
Yeah.
Okay, so John, can you work with Jordan to figure out what those are, and then let's track those for this release? Okay, GUI. Simon?
Yeah, hi. So the first task there, API for overlays, is really just a documentation task. It's to do with formally describing how topology overlays will integrate with the new topology view. And then, as you can see, most of our tasks are actually bug fixes. A number of these have been in the backlog for a while, and we're using this opportunity to kind of clean up those. Let's see, the 6896 is not yet has not yet got an owner because the community member who stepped up and said, "Hey, I want to get involved," hasn't yet registered in the system. So we're kind of waiting on him to do that. And then let's see, the implement host friendly name is actually blocked by the one above it. but since we're kind of doing those two together, it kind of made sense for us to just complete that one. As I said, bug fix, bug fix, bug fix. And then the bottom one is actually, Stephen is very close to completing it. He has working code that's just needs a little bit of cleanup to get it in. So we thought we would do that too. So that's just another enhancement to the UI build and package mechanisms. So that kind of summarizes what we have.
Okay, and then the bug fixes, are you guys targeting that for the support branch?
Yes, we can do that, yes.
I think the main thing is these are not what we've identified as critical, so we wouldn't hold off on creating an RC.
Right, yes, I don't think you would, but yeah, so.
I think it might be easier if some of those fixes can be made on a support branch and then migrated. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter which direction we can take it. It's just that we can be a little bit less when reviewing it.
So which would you prefer us to do? I mean, we could do either.
You know, actually, I don't know. I was thinking it would be easier if it's scrutinized for the release, and then we can sort of blindly merge it onto the master. But if it's scrutinized in the context of master, we have to then sort of re-scrutinize it again for the support branch. That was my thinking for suggesting to do it on the maintenance branch.
I would like it scrutinized for the release.
For the release?
Yes.
Okay.
Master can be okay, not being completely.
Yeah. So if for the most part, if those changes can be done in the context of the support branch, that would be good.
Okay, we'll
make exceptions, but it would be better if they're done there first.
Okay, so support branch first and then pulled into master after?
Exactly, yeah, because we can, you know, we don't have to be as careful to pushing them on master if they're gonna affect stability.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah, I think the only note is as we hit RC, we may not necessarily merge all these fixes, right? So RC would be based upon the critical issues.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's fine. We'll just keep track of them until they need to be merged. Sorry, need to be pulled into master.
Okay.
Yep.
And then network virtualization.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Now I want to bus from airport to my home, so.
Oh, hey, Yusuf.
Hi. Okay. So for virtualization, actually we didn't achieve our goal in this release planning. But yeah, as I mentioned, for virtualization, we will plan to reboot our brigade with new leader and the new members. So we plan to have work with people ONOS build and up to then, yeah, we will continue to a little bit small activities. So actually we will improve some minor bug fixes and also some, yeah, we will try to improve some performances, but the new feature delivery will be delayed to up to season 2 virtualization brigade, maybe middle of September. So in this sprint, we will introduce logo and trace for web agent. Web agent is a specialized application for which is supporting tenant awareness. So it will, yeah, and then we realized that we needed to log in each tenant log messages separately and independently. So we will try, this is the new feature of the virtualization brigade, and other works will be, we will improve some performances or fix some minor bugs. Thank you.
Okay, Yoon-soon, I see a lot of new functionality. So are these the bug fixes, or are these new features that you're planning to defer until the new members join?
Yeah, actually nowadays we don't have much. How can I say? So the number of active members are a little bit decreased. So now we have only 2 or 3 active members, not fully. How can I say? It's some we don't have now. We don't have some fully sponsored or fully full-time. Full-time. How can I say? I'm sorry, my poor English, but yeah. So now we are separated from the leg of the developers. So that is the reason why we will reboot our virtualization brigade. Actually, I have planned a lot of activities, but nowadays I'm also busy because I'm preparing my new job. So I, yeah, that is the reason why I didn't focus on the virtualization brigade. But yeah, after from September, Claudine will be new leader of the brigade, and she will be, yeah, deliver some good leadership for virtualization brigade, I expect.
Okay, thanks for the update. And then my only note here is if there are bug fixes that you want to do, you may want to pull it into the sprint because it looks like these are all features, right?
Okay, I will update the issues also.
Okay, thanks. And then dynamic config, Utah?
Basically, fixing bugs related to the device tree design kind of thing. I'll probably break down the kit into smaller pieces, but basically that will be it. I'll probably update the ticket, but that will be the main activity there.
Okay, thanks, Utah. I kept packet optical in case you guys have defects. And then OpenStack, we don't see updates there. And then gRPC. Aaron?
Yeah, so this was kind of the series of tasks that they're all running, but sort of slowly in parallel. So most of these are still in review. We've sort of been doing the back and forth throughout the last sprint, but they're not quite to the point where I'm comfortable merging most of them. There's 1 or 2 exceptions that I'm actually just recent patches and I have to read through, but basically most of the stuff is in review. It just needs to make it through the last hurdle, and once we agree on it, just get merged. So that stands for almost all of these services, with the exception, I believe, of the meter service.
Is this targeted for 110 or 111? Or
this is targeted for master. We're not trying to get these in the new branch or the release branch. Yeah, there's. Is there anything else we should? The same ones as last time, with the exception of a couple. Oh, and a couple of these are actually already done, and I just needed to put them in so I could close them.
Okay. Thanks, Aaron.
No problem.
And building package infrastructure?
So I'm not sure what that team is going to be signing up for. I'm under the impression that they'll be looking at the issue of Eclipse compatibility. And they may continue to investigate documentation.
Okay.
Somewhat related, we may have a workaround for running STC as part of the ONOS master build from Jenkins, which we might be able to get implemented this spring.
Okay, thanks, Brian. And then for P4, the focus is going to be on 2 things. It's getting ECMP working and getting the barefoot driver working. And then localization. Simon?
Yeah, so there's actually no coding to be done, but I have suggested on the Localization Brigade Slack channel that community members may look at taking the localization bundles and producing translations for them, where we've got a coverage spreadsheet, and you know, there are pieces that are missing at the moment. So we may be adding new localization bundles, but there'll be no functionality changes.
Okay, thanks, Simon. ISSU, Jordan?
Yeah, so the only work for ISSU in this sprint is getting ready in the next release to support upgrading stores where we need to. So that's the only code task. And then I'll also be working on the site on beginning to ramp up the brigade. So.
Okay, thanks, Jordan. QA?
Sure. So the first task is a continuation of updating the wikis. I think everything is done. We just have more pages that need to be reviewed. And the next one is finishing up getting the new mastership failover, latency, scale and performance tests integrated. So the test is written, but we need to, you know, get all the wiki and the database and all that stuff done. And then the next one is enabling ONOS node failure events to the CHO test. And I think most of our time beyond these tasks will be spent looking at bugs or just kind of break on those.
Okay, sounds good. That's all I've got. Any other questions or comments before we close out the sprint planning session?
Can I sort of add a suggestion? I know that there is going to be some additional tickets being mostly bug fixes done on the Yang Tools area in support and for the open config, but the team hasn't entered those. Can you please wait to start up at least that sprint and potentially also the localization sprint until tomorrow, so that the team has a chance to enter the tickets?
Okay, so I'll hold off on dynamic config. I'll start all the other sprints end of the day, and then Lion I can't start unless there's any a ticket in there. So that one's good to go.
You can start it empty, right? So
yeah.
I want to create at least a token, because I think the team itself is tracking the work of localization through the spreadsheet that Simon set up for them, because it's much more lightweight. So we can probably just create a ticket right on the spot, just, you know, to translate the remaining views, whatever, that are ready to be translated.
Right. Yeah. The discussion on the localization channel, we decided that entering JIRA tickets for every language translation was a little bit too heavyweight, because, you know, necessarily it's going to be a different person doing each language. So, you know, the actual work of the engineering, the internationalization, is somewhat more trackable because it's you know, a lot more work intensive. But if it takes somebody like half an hour to do, you know, a localization bundle and then it's it, we just felt in the brigade that was, you know, a lot of admin for a little bit of output. But I like your idea of having a token JIRA story, which basically says, yeah, we'll do this, and please refer to the spreadsheet.
Yes, and can you add the link to the spreadsheet in the ticket?
Yeah, certainly. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you go ahead and add that story, and then I'll start it
yes,
end of the day with everything else.
Yeah, I'll add a JIRA ticket for that.
Okay, and then Thomas, for the dynamic config, it would be good to understand which ones of those will be tracking towards 1.11.
I will send a message after this meeting. I will send a message to the dynamic config brigade, to specifically Gorov and his team, asking them to add those Jira tickets to the sprint so that you can start it tomorrow.
Okay.
And if not, create those tickets. And so then we should be able to start it somewhere around lunchtime tomorrow.
Okay. Were there anything we wanted to hold off 1.11 for in that work? Or are we good just based upon the list that was identified by Ray?
Was that a question to me or just a question in general?
It was a question to you. I think for everything else, the plan is everything is opportunistic except for.
So what I would suggest that we do not hold off the regular RC progression at all for the N-tool stuff or open config, but I would expect now if he's trying to set expectations with Gaurav and the team, and he indicated he doesn't seem that there would be a problem with this, is that we are expecting open config support in Loon release. However, it might be there in imperfect shape for the initial release, but then there might need to be a minor release done shortly afterwards. Okay. But given that this is part of optional functionality, not necessarily something that will directly affect the core, I wouldn't necessarily lose sleep over it.
Okay, that would be my preference. Is we're not holding off anything for this.
That's why I was not holding up the release. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
But I have no problem in sort of including it, and you know, definitely don't want to hold it up, but I also don't want to be stickler about allowing the functionality to come in later. That's what I was trying to say.
I think that's fine. I think up until we cut the RC, right? And so the main thing is, so long as you guys are scrutinizing what goes on the support branch,
yep,
we're okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Thanks.
I have a question for the group. So this morning when I made the spreadsheet, I grabbed the first 50, actually the 50 most recent pending check-ins to ONOS. There's quite a few more. Do we want to at least put them on the list to look at?
I think you put the next 50, maybe separate them.
Sure.
There might have been some overlap, or there might already be some overlap because of merges and changes.
Yes,
right?
yeah, definitely. It's going to be.
We'll have to.
Yeah,
but I would probably maybe put all of them there in a separate sections, and we can transcribe the content.
Okay.
And then can track it that way.
Okay. I'll cut it off at like anything that's like hasn't been touched in 3 months.
Yeah, I would not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Or even less than that.
Okay. Sounds good. I can do that later.
You just mostly want to catch things July and August.
Yeah.
And we'll deal with the stuff that's older separately.
Okay.
The release.
That's it. Yeah, that was my question.
Okay. Thanks. I think we're done then. Thanks, everyone.
Please make sure to keep the tracker up to date. I'll track the progress.
Yes, and then I'll start the sprints end of the day, except for dynamic config.
Yeah, for example, any of the things that Thomas and I have been doing code reviews and merges on will not have the corresponding Jira tickets closed. So if a particular change that went in closes the ticket, you have to go do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That was my comment about, was to keep Jira up to date so that everybody, and especially Ian, can keep track of, QA can keep track of what's happening. All right. Thanks, Ian.
Okay, thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.